Well, it was a quiet night. There was absolutely, we had to take traffic. That was the only way you could go into court with a bootlegger case. You had to be able to say that there was X number of people when they came and how long they were in there and if they came outside and did their job or whatever. You had to report the whole episode for a period of time during the evening to show commonness was what the magistrate insisted on. And so I was we were watching this bootlegger, and cab pulled up. He went in, he came out with a brown bag, and my partner and I said, well, we have no traffic here tonight. We might as well get an illegal possession case. So we stopped the cab driver and asked him if he had, and no, he didn't have anything. Under the seat there was the bottle, and I said, well, you've had the biscuit. So I said, you bring my partner, you bring the cab in, and I'll drive him up to the police station to book him. So on the way up, he said, what happens? I'm a newcomer in town. And I said, yeah, you are. I said, have you been here? He said, no, not very long. Oh, what happens? And I tell him, I said, well, it's usually $150 or $150, I believe it was in those days, and costs. $100 in costs, $175. Oh, God, he says, I haven't got $175. And I said, too bad. Should have been thinking of it. He said, well, I got a wife and 2 kids. Who's going to look after them? He said, he said, you have to go to jail? I said, yeah, you go for 30 days. That's the way the magistrate has it. God, he says, who's looking? And anyway, I stopped and I said, gee, do I need this bloody case this bad? I stopped the car, and Reed was my partner, and I said, you know, Art, I don't think we need this case. I explained to him. He said, oh, to hell with it. Just give the guy a break. We broke the bottle there at the rock pile at the hotel. And I said to him, okay, don't let us catch you again. You've had your one shot, you know. And we went. I was on duty the next day at noon hour when the cops would come in off the beat and have their lunch, and I was doing the phone calls. And this guy shows up at the counter. He said, I got some information I think you'd be interested in. I said, what's it about? And he said, gold. I said, don't talk to me here. Let's get out of here.
What?
Oh, if you had an informant, the last people in the world you wanted to know about it was other cops. He was my informant. Eh? So I said, out, I'll meet you. We met, and I told him, I said, what kind of information have you had? He said, I took a load down to Toronto. I'm sure it was a load. He said, it was with the Lebrecs. Oh, I said, geez, you sure must have had a load. He said, yeah. I said, do you remember where you went? He said, yeah, I do. 14 Wells Hill. And I said, 14 Wells Hill. My good God, it can't be. Because that's Upper Forest Hill Village, behind the Park Plaza. Great, huge homes. I knew the area. I knew it because I had lived up the street, not there, but on the other side of St. Clair. And I said, you're sure it was that address? He said, oh yeah, that was 14. I said, what happened? He said, well, I was there half an hour or so, and then they came out and they said, drive me down to the arcade building. I said, the arcade building? What would you? He said, I don't know. I just parked out on Yonge Street and they went in the arcade building. They were in there for about half an hour and they came out. He said, I do remember they went next door to there was a tobacco store, and they went and they bought a bunch of cigars. And I said, then we got in the car. I said, what happened then? He said, we went back to 14 Wells Hill. They went in there, and they were in there for a matter of a half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, and they came out with a paper bag full of whatever. I said, oh. I said, what happened? He said, we drove back to Timmins. So I called Brainy. Brainy was in charge of the high-grade squad, him and Johnson. And I called Brainy and I said, I have some information, Brainy. I don't know how, I think it's good, but it's so strange that I can hardly believe it myself. He said, well, tell me about it. And I said, no. I said, I have an informant, and I think the best thing that could ever happen to him is he better get the hell out of town, and he's going to need some money. And he said, are you sure enough for me to go to the Attorney General? And I said, yeah, I'm sure enough. There's got to be something to this. I said, it's strange information, but it's sure as hell. So he arranged a John Doe check for me. I gave it to the guy, and I said, pack your family and kids and go. Never want to hear from you, never want to see or hear of you again.
How did he react?
He was scared skinny. As I told him, I said, if this ever tied back to you, you're dead. You're dead within 10 hours. So you get going and never come back here. That was it.